Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FSX. We've got a special treat today. We're going to be flying the DC-8 73 series. I have the 50 through 70 series by Just Flight DC-8. I'll put that in the description if you want to check it out. It is amazing. I believe I got it for $30. It was on sale for $29.99. And what a fantastic airplane it is. And the systems are very, very, very good. And this one even has the retrofit of the FMC in it, which is amazing, and it works. So we're just going to... I've been really trying to get used to this airplane. It's a whole new enchilada. It's not like a 757. It flies like a 707 kind of, and it's the old mechanical style airplanes. First thing you can notice here is they've got a lot of older vehicles like the old Chevy and the old Ford and the air stairs and so on and so forth. I'm getting a terrible frame rate here because this is scenery, so it's getting around in the 20s. Not a big, huge deal. But once we get in the air, we will get a lot more. I turned off all the traffic and I turned all the ground traffic off. That way, we just get more of a simulation experience. I don't want to detract anything from the actual airplane and its system, so I want you people to see that the best that you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean all this crap up, and then we're going to get underway inside of the cockpit. Alrighty, welcome to the cockpit of the DC-8. This is a 73 series, so what that means is it's not the 60s old series where it has the old avionics systems in it. So now we have a EADI, and we have an EHSI as well. That acts as a map plan mode, kind of like you've seen before in other airplanes that show you the different information that the FMC has given you, or FMS, whatever you want to call it, the flight management system or flight management computer, one of the two. And also have some upgrades here in the other realm. And here in the middle is a whole lot different. So, I mean, it still has the old flight engineer station that we'll have to do, but it's a pretty straightforward airplane. We don't have to do any cross bleed stars. We're just going to start all of them on the APU, and our engine sequence will be 3, 4, 2, 1, since 3 is the one that it's going to be going first. So, anywho, that's what's going on here. Let's hop over to the FMC and take a look inside of there. Alrighty, so now we're looking at the FMC on this airplane. We're just going to give it a little bit of information. So basically, we're going to fly at about 8,000 feet today, head out to Kayla intersection, turn around, shoot this star, and then shoot the ILS for 1-2 left approach into St. Louis. It's a little windy out there. It's been from 10 to 20 knots, so we might have a little bit of a crosswind, but that's always fun. So reference airport, first thing is first. We'll do KSTL there. I guess so. It likes that. And we can go ahead on into the performance initiation page here. And we can see I've already got this stuff pretty much already set how I wanted it. Cruise altitude today, 8,000 feet. We'll throw that in there just so the FMC knows what's going on. Execute that. Okay, let's head over to the departure arrival page. And then on St. Louis, we wanted to pick an arrival. We'll do the Kayla 1. I've already got it activated there. No transitions needed. We don't want to fly all the way out there. And we'll be shooting an ILS for 1-2 left approach. We'll select that one as well. And we'll use a Ruyan transition as well for there. We'll hit execute like so. And it should be here in our legs now as it is. Kayla, Big Mac, Denise, Albert, Stan, so on and so forth. And you know, all we have to do is turn that thing over to where we can put this thing into plan mode. And then we can step through it. So we'll do that really fast. As you can see on the left there, we'll just step through this. There's Big Mac, Denise, Albert, Stan, so on and so forth. So Ruyan. We'll shoot to, oh wait, what happened there? We have a disco. So let's go ahead and clear that actually. We'll delete this. Oh wait, no, we'll just go Ruyan to there and execute that. And let's step through this again just to make sure that we are correct, because I think something screwed up there if you ask me. There's Ruyan, Muvd, say UB, Ferris, and Greep. That looks about right how it should. Kayla, Big Mac, Denise, Albert, Stan, Ruyan. Okay, yep, that's right. We had a little bit of a disco there, so we took care of that problem. Let's head over to the flight engineer station and get everything set. Alrighty, this is the flight engineer station. We'll look up here at the top first, and we'll see we have external power on, which it is. That's what that little cart outside there is doing for us. And we have the gens turned off on a battery mode there, like so. We can make sure everything else looks good, which it does. We're not going to mess with too much today. Not too in depth, I'll say. So first thing we want to do before we can start the engines, we're going to have to select the packs to completely off. And you know that from other airplanes we've flown, like a 727 and all that good stuff. And then here's the big one. It's the fuel. We want to have these 4 here on the left all the way up to main, to normal, to normal. Those X's are cross feeds for the fuel. And then we want to go up as well to the main. So those are on, lights extinguished. Let's go to the middle one here. And we want to go this one fully forward and this one fully down. We don't need that one open. So we'll go ahead and keep the booster off like so. And then over here, we'll just have this one straight up to main, and you'll see the light go off. And then we'll have the other 2 will be down. The cross feeds will be on cross feed, and that X will go there, and that will be straight across like so. And then the last one is going to go in the middle to the alternative position right there. So this is what you want to have it set before you can start the engines. Let's get up to the front of the airplane, and I'll show you that. All right, so we're looking at the overhead of the DC-8 here now, and these 3 buttons here are the ones that give us all those little fun stuff outside, like the vehicles and stuff. So, and the chocks. So we'll turn all 3 of those off like so. Now we can go ahead and turn the beacon light on, which is right here, and it's on now. We can take the starter and ignition, set it to armed, and we can do an ignition to all engines like so. And here is the starting sequence for all 4 of those engines. So what you would do is you would hit the button, you'd wait for it to go up, and then you would, about 20% in one or whatever, and then introduce the fuel via these little black switches down here. To make things easy today, we're just going to go ahead and make all 4 of these forward. The engine start sequence in FSX is not realistic at all. It doesn't matter if it gets to 20 or whatever. It's going to hot start the engine no matter what you do. You can't get a perfect flow. So we're not worried about that today. But we'll do a sequence start from 3, 4, 2, and 1. Alrighty, let's start engine 3. All right, engine 3 stabilizing there, so let's kill that and start engine 4. All righty, 4 looks good. Let's go ahead and start engine 2. All right, 2 looks good, and start engine 1. All right, engine 1 looks good. Let's get back here in the back seat real quick and make sure everything looks good here. Generators are all on. We're on battery 4, so let's go to Gen 4. So we're on generator 4. So when we shut down, we'll shut down all the engines except for 4 until they get the external power plugged in. Everything else looks good. We can turn the packs on the right pack now. And that should do it for back here. Alrighty, we have good engine starts. Everybody is cleared off the ground back there. We have already released the parking brake now. Let's go ahead and set our flaps for takeoff, and we'll use, let's see, about, right here. We'll go about 18 degrees for flaps. Alrighty, so let's get rolling. Let's go ahead and turn our taxi lights on to the taxi light mode. We'll go ahead and just extend these down all the way. These are for our landing lights. They extend out of the wings, and when we turn our landing lights on, you'll see then. But let's taxi out of here. So I'm going to just give a little bit of power here, and I'm going to use the inboard engines more so than the outboards to taxi with. So it's a little more power, and we'll get rolling. All right, we're going to make a right turn here on Delta and take this over to 12 left. I know that's not what the taxi instructions were per se, but this is the more realistic route they take over to that runway. So I don't want to have to taxi all the way down there and then make a hard right turn and do all this other crap. So we're just going to take Lima here. I meant Delta is what we're on right now, but yeah, we're turning on Lima. We'll take Lima over there. All right, when operating this airplane, you'll notice that it's very long, so you've got to bring your nose out quite a ways before you can turn it all the way back over, which we're doing right now. And then we'll find the center line right about there is where it's located, just a little bit to the left, right on that green wire, where you can see right in here is where the nose is. All right, this is a really fun turn here. So in order to execute this with such a long airplane, we have to bring our nose a pretty far ways forward before we start making this turn. So we're going to kind of slow up here with some brakes. Keep an eye on it. Watch up here on the nose especially. We want to have adequate power for this turn. A DC-8 could turn pretty damn sharp. So we'll just start turning it now, like so. Add a little more power there. Just using the inboard power, maybe an extra bit on the outboards. So about right there. That's looking pretty darn good there. And then watch our nose here as we come all the way back. Pull back those outboard engines. A little more to the nose. And then we want to just kind of ease it on around. All right, I don't know what happened with the default ATC. They're just being stupid, so we're not going to pay attention to that. If they wanted me to go down to runway 30, I don't know what the hell they were talking about, because that doesn't make sense when the winds are the way they are. So we're just kind of doing everything ourselves manually. Landing lights are on and they are extended. So let's line up on the runway and get rolling. All right, airspeed's alive now. Crossing 80 knots, cross-checked. Keep it on the center line, looking good. Keep nose forward pressure as we find 120. Here comes 135, rotate, very nice and easy. It'll kind of just climb right off the runway nice and smooth, like so. Positive rate, gear up. So gear's coming up now. And we'll keep an eye on here. Let's cross about over 1,000 feet or so here. And then we'll start our turn to the right. Well, let's cross a little bit more. Let's make sure we have adequate amounts of speed. Once we cross 215 knots, we'll go ahead and start bringing our flaps up. You're going to hear a horrible sound, that sound. That is the electric trim. I have to go into the folder and turn that off because it'll drive you crazy. All right, we're making a nice, easy turn to the right, about to cross over Clayton, Missouri right now. That's what those buildings are off of our nose. And we're going to continue this climb on up to 8,000 feet and use some more of that horrible auto trim sound there. And maintaining of 250 knots under 10,000 feet, of course. And we can go ahead and retract our landing lights like so. And we can turn off our lights completely now. All right, 7,300 feet. And right off to our 10 o'clock there is Chesterfield Airport. Spirit of St. Louis is the name of it. And we're going to make it a left, and we're going to kind of follow the Missouri River around to get all the way out to Kayla intersection. We'll come just kind of shoot a racetrack back to Kayla, and then we'll start flying the actual star. So we're almost at 8,000 feet. Keep an eye on our speed here. Pulling it back a little bit. Pushing the nose forward. Let's get those autopilot servos ready to go here. Like so. So bam and bam. Autopilot servos are alive right now. Let's bring that up to about 8,000, and we can turn on the altitude hold. Get it on up there to 8,000. I know I had to recycle it there a little bit. Keep an eye on that speed a little bit more, and we start turn. Yeah, we start turning now over the river, and autopilot hold on for 8,000 feet. You're gonna hear a horrible noise. I will do my best to edit around it. Flying through some clouds up here, you can see how awesome the active sky next is at drawing clouds in around your airplane, and also giving you that feeling of flying through them rather than them being so transparent, as you can see there. Really, really neat addition to that. Alrighty, we're still on our right downwind for Kayla intersection up there. That's the Missouri River off of our nose, wrapping all the way around towards Columbia and Jefferson City. So we're gonna hit Kayla, then Big Mac, and then Denise there. I programmed the altitudes in as it needed to be. For some reason they had it like 2,500. I don't know if you saw that on the departure, but we have an 8,000 now, 7,000 for Albert and Stan, and then we go on down to 2,500 feet and intercept the ILS. One thing that's very, very cool about when you're flying the FMC in this airplane is, God, that trim is the most annoying sound. I've got to get rid of it. Is you'll see this little plus. You see this little plus down here? The up and down is the VNAV on it. So you follow the plus, and that is what the VNAV is supposed to be on our way in. So you'll know how much of a descent they expect out of you to make your altitudes, instead of the airplane doing it automatically like it would in a VNAV situation. Worst trim sound ever. If you buy this is the first thing you'll want to do, is go into the sound files and delete this sucker right here. Alrighty, we're going to make our turn now. We're going to come back around to meet Kayla intersection, and then we'll be going direct to Denise from there, since we already crossed it. Now, I know you know that the terrible sound that is, there's a reason for it. There's always a rhyme and reason for everything in an airplane, I suppose. But the reason why that makes that sound is it would alert the crew if there was a runaway trim situation. So when the electronic trim started running away, they could try to, disconnect the autopilot and deal with it manually, instead of letting the airplane get into a stall condition. So the same thing kind of is on a metro liner. It makes a little meep sound to let you know every time you're adding trim into it with the electronic pulse. That way, if the airplane gets into a trim situation where it's just going to get into a stall on an autopilot, it'll let you know. When you constantly hear that, you'll be like, uh-oh, something's up. All right, so we crossed over Big Mac, Kayla and Big Mac, so we're going to go over here and make sure this goes over to auxiliary navigation. So it's going to start flying the FMC, which is picking up Denise right there, nice and smooth, maintaining that 8,000 feet. And we're watching this plus, and you see it start to go right there. So we're going to turn the altitude alerter off, or the altitude hold off, and we're going to just manually bring the nose down. I'm not going to use the trim so much because it's so friggin' annoying, but we're going to get down to 7,000 feet when we cross Stan. So we need to get down to about 1,500. Not that much, not 2,000 or so, but 1,500 feet per minute. It's going to be good right now. All right, guys, we're at 6,000, about 7,000 feet here right now. Going to bring the nose up, and we're going to maintain that little plus where it wanted to. But now we're starting to pick up the localizer a little bit, and we want to maintain about we're coming down to 6,000 feet here, nice and smooth. Watching our speed all the way down. I wanted to get to a point on this approach to where it wasn't going nuts with that trim. That auto trim sound was driving me crazy. I'm sure it was driving you crazy. So right now we're just flying along here. We can pop this map range out a little bit, and you can see the approach into 12 left. All right, so we're going to cross Royan at 6,000 feet. And like I said, I just wanted to make sure that the auto trim wasn't going crazy. We have the airplane in auxiliary nav. It's flying the FMC as it should right now, and it's going to start turning a little early because it knows the speed compared to when we get to Royan. So it's going to start turning before we actually get to Royan, so it can make MUV'd in UB on time. So you'll see that start to occur here in a minute. There's 6,000 feet. Let's bring the back pressure just a little bit, like so, and keep an eye on, keep it about 6,000 feet. As you can see here, we want to be MUV'd at 6,000, UB at 5,000, Ferris at 30,500. So we want to make sure we're up here at 6,000 feet. Watch that, because when you get into a turn, you start to lose a lot of your altitude. And we're also going to start slowing the airplane up considerably here. No need for it to be flying in so quickly, like so. And we're across MUV'd at 6,000 feet. Well, pretty close to it. We're trying to get to there, which is good. Maintaining about 6,000 feet is going to be enough to slow this puppy down quite a bit, but we'll still manage the speed on the way in the best that we can, like so. So there's 6,000 feet. Just keep an eye on that. Watch our speed. In these big airplanes, it's so easy to get ahead of the plane. That's why you don't want to do that. You just got to go nice and smooth. So UB at 5,000 feet. So now we want to start our descent. Profile to 5,000 feet, like so. So we're coming down to 5,000. And then Ferris at 3,500 feet. Airplane's still flying on the FMC, but we're managing everything and watching the speed. We can go flaps 1 right now, or 5 or whatever, because we're at 215 knots. The first placard. We want to help slow this plane up because we're so light. Normally we would not be that light coming in, but this is like a ferry kind of flight, and that's the reason why we are going to be light on our landing. So keep an eye on the speed here right now, as well as our other stuff. We want to get to about 180 knots here when we cross Ferris, so I want to keep an eye on that. 3,500 at Ferris at 180 knots, which we're at about right now, 180s, right in that area. Still managing the airplane pretty well. Coming through the 4,700. We want to get down when we get to Ferris. Come on, baby. On down we go to 3,500 feet. I want to make sure we make that in time and watch the speed as we pull that back. Right now we're starting to grab the localizer and the ILS, so we can flip this sucker all the way over into ILS mode. So it'll pick up the ILS and fly the glide slope and everything for us. And let's go nice and smooth here. Yeah, it's picking it up pretty well. Seems to be, at least. Maintaining 3,500 feet right here. Keep that. Slow that airplane up to about 180 again. Like I said, you know, when you have a first officer, you have a lot of help, but you don't have help when it comes to all this at the same time. So it's still flying the localizer right now. I'm maintaining the altitude restriction, so we want to get down to 2,500 for Greep and slow this thing down to 170. So let's do that. Gear's going to come down like so. We're grabbing the localizer still trying to get to 170 right now in 2,500 feet. And that boop, boop, boop sound you're hearing it doesn't like it when you pull the throttles to idle in this kind of condition at all. So that's why it reminds you. It's like, hey, don't throw it into that yet. We're not ready for it. And as you can see here on the EHSI right here, winds are 1.9 or 3 at 2.4. So they're gusting pretty hard up here. And we're going to have, like I said, a little bit of a crosswind landing into St. Louis, as I had figured it was gonna happen. Let's get back up on the glide slope here. Maintain that 170 knots. So easy to lose it. And like I said, I'm brand new to the airplane, so I'm still getting used to it. I'm no pro, but I figured I would show, you know, a training flight instead of me just doing it. I'd show you guys a little bit what it's like behind the scenes instead of a normal flight. Come on, get back up on that damn glide slope. And the thing is slow. It's slowing up, but it's just so fast. It's like any power you're going to give it, it doesn't seem to care so much. Come on, back on up. And we're maintaining that 170 knots, trying to get back to it at 2,500 feet, or trying to intercept the localizer, or the glide slope at least, like so. And it's looking like it's doing a pretty darn good job getting back up there. I probably need a little more bit of flap. All right, we're just slightly under the glide slope, still working on that. and our radio altimeter is starting to come alive down here. That's showing just about 1,200 feet. We want to get to 1,000. We'll disconnect the autopilot completely at 500 feet, and we have went ahead and grabbed the glide slope, and we're still using the crab for the localizer, letting it do its thing, but we're maintaining the glide slope manually, which is proven to be a little bit of a job with this wind. All right, get back up on it like so. There's that auto garbage. Why are you grabbing it? I don't know what it's doing. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot system because it seems to be trying to take over everything, and I don't like that. I normally would do it at 500 feet in this situation. I don't want it to climb, and it seemed like it was trying to just climb up on that glide slope better than we could, or at least what it thought. It thought that at least. All right, maintaining that. Keep an eye on our speed. Watching this glide slope like crazy with this wind. It's gonna prove to be a fun little landing. I'll tell you that right now. I can feel it. All right, watch the nose of the airplane come over. A little bit more to the left, like so. Man, that wind was really carrying us, wasn't it? I didn't want to throw the crab out till the end, but kind of hard to see the visibility with that pillar right there. Watch the speed, a little more speed in this wind. Don't want to get dangerously slow. Still maintaining this. Look at the wind though. Man, that sucker is crazy. There's the outer, that should be the middle marker, but or inner marker, but okay. Keep an eye on this. Throw that crab out with the left. Bring that nose up. Oop, oop, a little bit more. Is it right? My God, this thing is slippery. Woo-wee. Alrighty, it's down. Go ahead and throw the reversers open. There was 60 knots. We can kill those. All right, we can put our spoilers forward and bring our flaps up now. I saw one thing I did not do right, and that was I did not have the landing lights on for our landing. Uh-oh. But, you know, like I said, it's easy for anyone to sit there and point the finger. I did this wrong, I did that wrong, or, you know, anyone. But the truth of the matter is this is the very first time I've been flying. I've flown this airplane. I've only put, like, I took it off from St. Louis and landed it once and realized it was quite difficult to do. It's not an easy airplane to fly by any means. If you're looking if you're looking for an airplane of this size and the way it handles, it's not for people that don't know how to fly other big jetliners. I'll say that it can get away from you really, really, really fast. It's old. It's the mechanical style controls. So. It's a slippery airplane. You gotta manage speed. Really pay attention to that on the approach. But it's a lot of fun to play to fly. It's very rewarding. I'll tell you that right now. Alrighty, parking brake is going to be set now, and let's go ahead and kill engine 1, 2, and 3. We'll leave 4 running until we get the external power running. Alrighty, we have the external power connected, and we can go ahead and shut engine 4 down. And that's going to do it for us. Let's turn off the ignitions, all that good stuff. Beacon light off, like so. So yeah, it's a very, very, very interesting airplane. I got it for $30, $29.99 at Just Flight. It was definitely worth the money. The systems were a lot more detailed than I thought they were going to be. Amazing that it has a working FMC in it, and it comes with a nav database with it, a good Navigraph, whatever you want to call it. Navigraph is the provider of them, but anywho, I mean, for what you get, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's a tough airplane to fly. It's not easy. That's why I said I'm going to be spending some time with it, getting more used to the airplane and flying it from point A to point B. Before I fly it on Pilot Edge or something like that, where it's going to take a lot of work. I have my view set to here as a quick jump, so I can jump over here to the comms when I need them if I fly it on Pilot Edge or whatnot. But, I mean, the model's amazing. This is just the 73 series, and next time I'll show you the 60 series and probably maybe the 50 or so on and so forth. But this is just one of many videos of this airplane to come. Leave a comment below if you like what you see. I love it to hear from you guys and tell me. I know I screwed up here and there. It wasn't a perfect flight. It was one of those first look flights. So don't expect, gold stars all across the board from me. So yeah, guys, just hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on a future flight.